Hello there, everybody. You are looking at a very nice chess study from the famous Estonian chess player Paul Keres, one of the greatest players in the 1900s. Sadly, he didn't get the chance to become a world champion, but he was one of the best for a long time. All right, so we are looking at a very difficult position here because black has two connected pawns threatening to attack our king and promote. We have to do something about that. And even though we have a queen, it's not easy at all to win this, but there is a chance. But we have to play exact. Okay, so white to move here. You can post a video, see if you can find the winning variation for white, and when you return, I will show you, of course. Okay, welcome back. So, well, he's threatening to play b2, as I said. So, I mean, moving the queen to e5 or b8 will not give us anything. It will just follow b2 check and then followed by b1 promote. And in best case, we can exchange queens and try to save a draw. But we want to win this. And of course, we need to be creative and aggressive, which means we need to sacrifice our knight. Knight c2 check. That's the right starting move. It brings a check in there, and of course, it also has some other values. Because look at this. If black takes it, if it takes it with a pawn, it's very, very bad idea. We will simply play the queen somewhere. b8 is the best, I think, and just go for the checkmate here. It's I can try with the king a2, but then we go down to b4 and for sure will be checkmate. Or try to stop it with bishop g8, but we will simply take it and it will follow a checkmate next move. Okay, so cannot take it with a pawn. What about if black takes the knight with his bishop? The point of this sacrifice now is that this bishop is now a liability. It was doing very good over here, covering the whole diagonal, but now this bishop can be taken if black plays b2. So after bishop takes c2, we simply play queen to b8. Now, if b2 check comes, well, we simply take here, and it will be a checkmate next move. Either we take the this piece, which will be promoted, or we simply play queen to the a line and checkmate. So we cannot take it with the bishop either, and something like this is of course checkmate right away. So black has to let this knight be. And the only other move, except for taking with either the pawn or the bishop, is of course king to a2. Now, what do we do to continue this? Black is still threatening to play b2 check with the support of the c pawn. And we need to move this knight away. But wherever we move, except b4, is very bad because it's a discover check, but b2 will follow to stop the check, and we are in trouble. So, only possible move for white is knight b4 check. It's a check with the knight, but also with the queen. It's a double check. King has to be moved, and there are two potential squares to move to. Let's first look at what happens if it goes up to a3. Can you see how white wins from here? It's not easy, but there is a win. Have a look. Okay. I mean, something like this is not good enough. We are threatening some discovered checks again, but it's just too slow. It will be a check here, and it will follow to be a queen, and we will lose this. No, we have to stop this diagonal, and we do it with a beautiful sacrifice again. The knight really wants to be sacrificed. Knight d3 is good. It also covers these two squares, so the king is really blocked. And it covers b2. So if we try something like this, we can simply sacrifice our knight again. And of course take the next one. And this is obviously winning for white. Black really needs to take this knight. He cannot be passive, then we will get a check, and we will win very soon with this knight on the board. So he takes this knight. We still play queen d6 check. The king now has two potential squares to go to. If he goes up, then he really abandons these pawns and their chances to promote. So we will simply take this bishop, and he cannot do anything. I mean, b2 is simply met by king b1 or even better, king c2, and everything stops. All pawns will fall, and of course, we win this easy. So the question is, what happens after black plays king a2 in this position? Give it a go if you want to see, and you can pause the video also. Otherwise, here it comes. Because we cannot take this bishop. We will lose here. b2 will come, and the king has to go to either c2 or d1. And this is losing, of course, for white. So we have to do something smarter. After king a2, we have a beautiful move, which is mate in 3 actually, and that is queen d5. We pin this pawn, so it cannot attack us. There's no point in moving any of the other pawns because we are threatening checkmate. So this pawn cannot move, and the king cannot move either because it will still be a checkmate on a5. So look at this. The only thing he can do is play bishop b5 to just block here. And of course we can take it, but it's a lot better to simply play queen a8 check. And there will be a checkmate in the next move. The bishop can block in either of these two squares, and we just take it with a checkmate. So beautiful. Okay, but we're not done. Let's go back. Let's move back to this position. We moved the knight to b4, have a double check, and we looked at king a3. But the king can also go to a1, which is actually probably better for black. Still threatens b2 with the check and the tempo, followed by b1 to promote. And we don't have any checks here that doesn't involve sacrificing something. So the thing is, well, what are we doing? Have a look at this position and see if you can find out the win for white from here. Go ahead. All right. Well, we can have a check here, but then it's simply a repetition. It goes back, so we need to do something. And we need to keep the initiative, so we have to check, which means we sacrifice our queen. That's a fantastic queen sacrifice. Look at this. It's check, of course, forced move to take on a2. And now we only have a knight left against a bishop and 3 pawns. But white is winning this. So fantastic. Can you see how white is winning from here? Well, we need to get the knight to checkmate, of course. It's our only remaining piece. And if we can put it on b3, it's a checkmate. But it can also be a checkmate from c2. And what is the connection between these two squares? Well, of course, we want to get the knight to d4. And to start with that, we play knight c6. We want to have a checkmate on either of these two squares and keep the bishop away from protecting them both. And actually, look at this. You cannot do it. I mean, simple move like this. Then we play knight d4, and it will be a checkmate here next move, or here. If black moves the bishop to cover this, well, there's a checkmate here. And if he just puts the bishop here, well, we take it with a checkmate. So, of course, black doesn't have to play h4 here, but he cannot really stop this. The knight will come to d4 next move, whatever he does. The best way to keep the mate from coming is actually to just sacrifice the bishop, and then we take it. But it doesn't matter. Now it's a force move there. We play knight d4. We could also play it to a5 here, and there will be a checkmate next move. So this beautiful queen sacrificed really pinned the knight to the corner, blocked by his own pawn, and then we use our last piece, the single knight, to checkmate. I mean, it's so amazing. First a check, and then knight to c6, and there's nothing black can do from prevent us from going to d4 and then checkmate either here or here. Such a beautiful study. Paul Keres, very good job. Thank you for this. And thank you for watching, everybody. Have a great day. See you later. Bye bye.